Counsellor Emelia Hanson say obisina jete so wa henin breeder or honor. When we went for that music break, trust me, it was so beautiful hearing in the studios. But I was about to Facebook no be with the way these wonderful people can really boogie. All right then, into that pay. Let's get on. Na yenzin komo. Na yenu koma yerba bezino no here papa. Yeriche may be in there. Na multi be another time yeba for the second part. Na yetumi akawasam. In the year share business ewo our room. Ikuna year the work can one boom na we boy ejuma into when it comes to couples setting up business together, the good, the bad, how to go about it, and all that. Most of you want to go into it. You've been hearing in Samni Bebre. This morning we're going to digest it here. Ibinuma komida wanye ya mawan, but I'm sure binum sukrumo ye mawan. We're going to find out why it did not work for others and why it worked for other people as well. So that's our conversations here this morning. If you're married, you need to be here. About to marry, you need to be here. Apostle Peter Agyeman is here. Apostle, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay. Apostle say, in Canada comes Apostle, what's up, y'all?
I don't.
You look good.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you so
and
much.
then Mara Counsellor Emelia Hanson. The last time we met on radio, it was great. And so proud to have her here today. Counsellor, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
No problem then. Amen. I like your fabric.
Oh, thank you. I'm a true Ghanaian, you know.
You see that? But you found the Omama here for your power friend and black ID. Na that's some hair on our pump terrorism, mama. You know, my mama if you want proud Ghanaian.
Proud Ghanaian.
That's right. Internet, let's get into here discussions. If you're home watching us, definitely will be coming to you as well. You share with us now in painful way to now. I'll start with Apostle na Maba Counsellor so noto. Apostle, I'm in my fancy.
Okay.
Into a bottom market which na as over for so Frank Kakran to me a queen. First of all, say your setup a Juma. I don't think there is any special definition for it. We are just going to look at it whether it is good, it is bad. You weigh the percentage. I'll let Counsellor do same, and then you boom. What makes it good? What makes it bad? Yabosha, why it has not been working and why it has been working. We'll look at all the technicalities in there. It's about education this morning. So starting with you, our Fabiana was set up business together. A straight answer: positive or negative?
Straight answer, and I would say it's both. It's positive and negative.
Percentage-wise?
Percentage-wise, I would say it's a 60-50.
Which one carries the 60? Which one carries the 50?
50, no. 40, that I would say 40-60. Yeah. 40-60, no. 40 year Juma, 16 year Juma.
40 year Juma, 16 year Juma. So many times it does not work.
Yeah.
Wow. We'll come to that. Yeah. But that is your opinion.
That's my opinion.
Let me go to Counsellor Emelia Hanson. Counsellor, honestly, 60-40. 60 of the times it does not work, but 40 of the times it works. So we're even shifting into the arrow is pointing down in terms of positive, and in terms of negative, we're shooting up. Yeah. What's your opinion?
I would say 50-50. Yeah, it's 50-50. There are determinant factors that will let it work or otherwise.
Okay.
So maybe when we get there.
When we get there.
Yes.
We'll look at that. Okay, so we're moving straight up into that conversation here. Now, Mamonko Apostle Ho. Now, help us know the 60% times on your ejuma. All right. What are the contributing factor that does not really make it work on the 60% average?
So about 60%, the reason why any ejuma is so we will be a partnership in business, especially our remona nipani is selfish and juma.
Okay.
At the same time, so nipani is greedy, it will not work. Because we be an ibradi, you will be one in the relationship on pair the partner and cause. So we be sika chain and mostly they are not a member side. Send a European scratch no. Mama be bring pet.
So for what can we pray?
Mama be bring pennies.
The debate has already started here.
What can we pray?
Whoa. Some may disagree with you.
So far can we pray?
Whoa. Mama be bring pet in a sense. Yeah, now they feel say obenya sika ochre no.
Yeah.
Inti on person yire benya sika che no. Inti fine. Ye business together, but adie bi ebe ma wo wako wani ma che me no. I'll try ways and means to sabotage it. Send be ya wo nya sika che me, ne mo menya sika che wo. Nti mama bebre empene sa. Nti etimi si. Ti eba na sa na mo ye business aboma hunu se ntimi nko ba bia.
So we've talked about selfishness.
Selfishness.
When there is that high level of selfishness on the part of one, you know, business don't cuddle. You've been relating to greed in Arasudamara. And then with what you're saying, is it a natural thing that men naturally wouldn't want to see women thrive?
Not all of them. Not all of them.
But is it most of them?
Yeah, most of them.
Most men wouldn't want to see their wives thrive.
Because when they say, ne yiri e break it through channel, be man hoso. And mostly, no, some are rare. A man be one more sika. O feel say me was catch me kuno.
Okay.
You know, me can say me kuno can be. I control everything. I have money more than you. So who are you? And the ban say respect no any honomo. On the do bia on say your culture no you are limited ma in a way say oba enni kwan say no be honoma obetimi aye. So until you hu say so obenya sika e man akwanya ma na ye no ma bi say wo ye. Nti mema no bi honoma they don't like it. Say no benya sika chen no. To be ye bibia say oba no enko nanim ensene no. Nemo no be ko nanim ache oba no. But your mema bi won so a be push ni jire to make it and break through. Because when him say at the end of the day no ye nyina ye dia. And at times it depends on oba ni suban.
Okay.
Oba ni ye ni suban. Fine. Some time ago me ho chire me no. She was there for me. Such a woman who pushing man ye.
Wow.
But oba bi ho no so a ho chire wa oba mo ho so ho a chire. Yeah.
Wow. All right. So these are the factors that all contribute to that 60% why it does not work.
And a lack of self-control.
In what sense?
In a sense, you say, obi one man need self-control or you use cow rough. Only enter into business not man for restriction and to musika somehow. At the end of the day, no obi misuse scala.
Okay.
Yeah. To be one need self-control with scala. Scatter in sempe I was say o use.
Okay. So when that happens, a business need to know.
Yeah, into me. And at the same time, no ushia bema or yeah massem bebre. No need self-control. Or this kind of very ma.
Anyway, that's quite interesting here this morning. But we are learning.
Yeah.
Yes, she has it. So we're trying to unearth factors are on yentum na yemba together. In fact, when someone is hearing this in that this alone will push the man or the woman back from wanting to have a joint business with or their partner. But I'm still believing that as part of our conversations, here is share. In Zama, able to me to ensure there why you Juma. But let me come to Counsellor Emelia, not Mimbisem. In as much as I would also want you to delve into the reasons why you believe partnership in business and would you, as a counselor, advise couples, whether fresh or old, to set up business together as a counselor?
Like I said, there are determinant factors. You know your partner better than a counselor or a pastor does. You know the person more. You have seen him in his lowest moments and all. I would advise, depending on what you know about the person, then you can decide whether you want to do it together because you know the person more. Like he rightly said, some men naturally know man is wired to lead, to be the head. You can't take that. It's natural, godly made. Man is wired to lead. So anything that will, a contest with his leadership, he won't allow it. Enti se kobano say mu wo mu na say na yire koso na wo san aba be lordy over him, he will not accept it. So for the fear of the unknown, so most men would not allow it.
Okay.
Others too, obisu minimum obisu wo on the NFL put their wife or lead that my wife is the head of this, my wife is the head of the or any pride. But so it depends. You know your partner better. But there is nothing wrong in having a business together. At the end of the day, you are one. Everything is for the two of you. But my reason in same binti, others wouldn't also want to do it. If you want to do it, I would want you to set the parameters straight right from the beginning, from the registration of the business and everything, who the directors would be. Everything should be documented legally, so that come tomorrow, no say hey, when the tense comes, then you know how to go about it.
Okay.
Yes.
But then back to the same question I maybe saw. No, all other things being equal, do you think, or would you advise that Ami Kojo-Adeson, Menye Emelia Hanson coming together as couples? Would you advise that yen set a business together? Is it healthy? Would you advise that yen set to be all other things being equal? Would you advise?
Yes, I would advise. But then set the parameters straight.
So
if you can't set the parameters, don't do it.
Okay.
Worry and the Mara today, normal Ghanaian business. Oh, I'm in a master, no documentation and anything, I would say no. But if you really want to go the business route, document it. I would advise, yes, do it together.
Wow. We stay in the same office. Yeah, but you're staying in the same office. The dangers there, you know, with the jealousy.
I've seen it.
And all that. I work
have
with
experienced it.
My wife. I can't talk to any other lady in the office. I become so stiff. But let me come to Osofo. Osofo, you being a pastor, I'm sure on a normal day, you would wish that partners would, you know, come together to set up business. I don't know whether you have same with your wife.
Yeah.
Your business is together.
We do things together, yeah.
Oh,
but
wow.
you see, one thing is, Africans, when it comes to business, we joke with it. We see things to be normal. But Brony Hunisa, say me, you don't know, there have to be an agreement.
Sure.
Business is business. Marriage is different from business. By any you're tuning in our boom, or you kunu. So at least we have to do things together. Then we leave everything open just like that. But I believe when it comes to see a business, as couples, we have to outline the agreement straight away. And your bonnet, Obibaka say, why say more dom hona moya ware for na fe more kofa lawyers have sign, meaning say you don't trust each other.
Exactly.
Yeah, the trust is there, but you have to do it with caution. Because anything can happen tomorrow. We know couples that they are very tight together, but something just happened and they separated.
Just like a contract. Yeah. And no crampo na edo who Christo munu kwa ye side ko ye ma aban ensa hyase aban wom. What are you talking about?
It's just like a contract.
It's a contract.
And also a sign to agree, say, you know, code together. Meaning, say, the entity of the cratane maw. Yet the maw, in a sense, as what China BBC, Sa cratano, and it do more than say, and pat ya worry. We are together. Intino, I am ransom wo home, Nisha wo home. It is so be violate cratano more somewhere, it may be a samba. So, intino. Ye be business adentin no so yentimi internase ne set say business ne be no o percentage a wodi wura mu ni me percentage a me di wura mu ni. We have to set all those things in the street. Me hu no say adwuma ne ye no we die say nti o chena BBC na say ye separate a ne hu no say o portion me portion, then we go.
So don't you think in doing so we are rather preempting, we are rather creating that mindset that BBC, instead of we doing it in love? Because when I know what can I was the two of us are one. So even without having any contract with you, signing paper with you, no, Wejuma as a man is mine, as a woman. If what we sign were caught in your writer, then Wejuma yamaza, Musume Juma yawaza. So why then do we still need to sit to say that yes, sign and krate? Whilst we say we're in love, it's a covenant, not necessarily a contract. Marriage is a covenant between the two of us. It's why should we go there? Are we not preempting something that may not, but we just want it to happen in terms of mistrust issues?
Oh, you see, I'm going to be painty. Any aboa serwa, or you ba na wa yini ani atunchen. Because the sinti. I told you have to be very careful. Oh, na no so ne na amen no ebinuma ko wie mental hospital a ebinum se nam court. Won yoma bebre ho no. Senka ya the nyoma to 2 years. The problem you want no. Oh, me trust no, me jinidi or you okay the way I was and everything. I don't think so obey me bonnet. Obey ehu.
Wow.
Yeah, ehu. Who knew the petri myself. And opay make say obi ni obi ada. Sorry. Nso nya no obekuno. Ni petri myself ntino. O ye bibia e was set nyoma to one ma. Oh, uja window to one ma assemble obetime huri afam. You don't close yourself in the window never be okay. So you leave a space and until you sit down you just so exit.
Emergency exit.
Yeah, emergency exit. To me, emergency bit messy. Yes, me invite to say a problem umra. It's bound a bit to happen. You know, it will be gratiasi. What one other card is you? What one amana say oh honey and see no. What just secure to one say oh I am only say automatically no it's bound to come. Okay. You know, certain things can come. But though you are wishing it, but for the sake of security reason.
Okay.
And then come to me.
Okay.
Because me say, oh, we'll be into me bonnet.
Okay.
Nyame bomb ho ban. But you die to your prum. Near the lock at one, near the security gate cross. I can ask up a security camera.
Yes, prison, my these days we build prison for ourselves. So because of that, we need to be doing that. Yeah. Now, would come to measures we need to put in place to ensure that these things do not happen. One of them is what you've mentioned.
Yeah, written. That is it.
Now, let me come to Counsellor, who in her earlier submission said that she's got experience. I don't know whether personally or case that came to you in my handle with respect to joint business. If you can help us with that one, share that experience with us.
It's not a personal thing, but I have worked for people where your couples, they are married, and then they work together. There are merits and demerits.
Okay.
There are merits and demerits, but they are doing excellently well in terms of business. I have seen the business grown. I no longer work for them. That's years ago, more than 10 years ago. But I see the business. The business is around us. Because of, I wouldn't be able to mention their name, but the business is growing so much because they are together and they believe that the business is for them. So it's working. Just set the parameters straight. Though there were, issues here and there, but then it works. That's what I'm talking about. By respective, like he said, let's document everything, especially in part of the world. And unlike Abrofono, in Africa, Ghana, I live in Ghana. In Africa, Ghana, Semko Wara, I'm not getting married to Kwesi Mensa uncle. Kwesi Mensa numu nyinara. Kwesi Mensa ne uncle. And our African setting, it is now that we are trying to change it. But if you were born like 40 years back, maybe on a compound, your auntie lives there. Uma mini nuya besia woho. Uofa ote compound inimbi. Ebipo be head down woho. But we've all become a family. Ewa afrabana. Eyu soni mubi. They all at some point in time, maybe over for school, but no one you one with demand. So you grow and you belong to that family, not to your mother and father alone.
Okay.
And the mabe jume mu penyin, me de juma no. Ebo hu na yi da ba. Now afraba nipo, na no oye demo, no oye demo. Ejuma he doesn't qualify. But what's now, bro? Kofi Amoabin said it. This was fun. Yes, Kofi Amoabin UT, former UT head. He said it. These are some of the issues. When you're from he doesn't qualify, but all they're fun. Maybe it's from one side. Maybe I'm busy on my side. No worry, the mazin. Aba fan boy wimpone jumani mumbra no inzido. Mo ido no ono no be flouting every rule. In this case, no ba obenyi no because it is costing the job. Benyi now only 50% wom. Let's set the priorities in the straight. Okay. Let's document it. Maybe we are not going to employ any family member who does not meet the standard.
Wow.
Oba, they train. They abandon Sasha say they. You don't qualify. Maybe you can recommend or go do this course. In case, give the opportunity. I'm a head of HR, human resource. Okay. But Seba. Now at least you don't qualify. Now I can't do anything about it. But
irrespective of your family ties.
Family ties. Because for baby job specification, you must meet it. Okay. If you meet it, why not? I'll give you the opportunity. I'll give you the equal opportunity. What I can do is to prep you for the interview. I can do it for anybody. Okay. Whether you are my family or a friend or whoever, I can prep you. It is very necessary that we document everything. Mr. Aware nankasa no.
It's documented.
Aware nankasa po documented.
Okay.
Bible ni mumpo everything is it comes with conditions. So the blessings come with condition. Christ is a day, do this. When you do that, I will do this. And it is documented in the Bible.
Wow.
The wouldn't and wejenyi. So there is a condition attached to it, and it is documented. So if you wouldn't respect your parents, then obviously you've lost that
beyond
lesson.
the documentation. So I am sure now counselors here the issue of boundaries, which I would want to touch on, because documentation is one aspect. Iyankasa Hinsuban, like you rightly said from the beginning, is another. We may document it so well, but if you meet a jealous wife, no see another issue altogether. If you meet a jealous husband, no see another issue altogether. You know, like you're saying, a man who overspends. No see another. Let's look at the boundaries, because in there, like I said, it is basically education. Some are already in it. Some are thinking of going into it. Some, as we speak, foundation was poor. Into no in zaman tum no nkoye papa, you know, even in crowd we go, but they still want to come together. So we are learning on this very platform in Danipe. Yes, set boundaries. You give me some of the boundaries that you believe as we're going into joint business, the ikun na year, also the yetum na year seta, obabwa ejuma no ma thrive.
My main can be kakram for the my kind no. There's family ties, no. The reason why I grant you was a more documented BB say or China be in Africa or BB say unu kuno to home na bear money free more. Abusuya correct me sorry. Etiao.
Okay.
And if things are not documented, when we buy so no offer be our amre. Busuya penny be our amre. No abi take business yeah this year no edia. But if things are documented, near BB also is a joint business. Abusuya ni be ntimi sorry mechina. Me take over things because o document na masin sign no be do dance here asset to free nti ebo bebre. And one thing that I also say is apart from say yeah document bibia so no we have to define clear role obia role play what business no.
Okay.
Also mu hunu.
Okay.
Na mu define ne ye obia limit wo.
Okay.
Baby I was say wo no opposition could do. Baby, I can go through. So that's because we want moment to me joint business. And now at the end of the day, no, back up and the one more share Jumano.
Okay.
If we want so mummy, no, and the woman, omunina, taking care of business and send a basic cost. Until I say, moye, would declare my definition, your role, would define the year. I bet my boamo. Someone defining us will be a sort of wait to me with her. And no one show ya, we can't say with her. Now at the end of the day, when so I can say.
So the boundaries that you're tuning here, we're setting to define your role by defining our roles. So I am the general manager of the company. These are my duties. You are the financial secretary of the business, and so on and so forth. So if we're able to define our roles very well, it is also going to help us in sustaining all the business. Let's look at other things that counselors.
Another thing also is focus on communication.
Okay.
There has to be a frequent communication.
Okay.
So that you know how things are going. Now, maybe can't say what ha. Now, at the end of the day, no, also become something that goes contrary.
Okay.
A banner emwa. Now, I feel ni pakure who to listen to.
Okay.
Because they know that the business belongs to the two of you. They said the bear ma can't say, oh, or you know so bad, and also become different thing. Then it creates confusion. So there have to be communication between the two of you all the time concerning the business, how you are going about things.
Okay.
CBBC, before you comment or you give your decisions about it, and it's very important that a bit me affected the business, you have to reason together before you bring it out. So they have to be focused on communication. A bit more.
We'll be looking at other in Zama as married a couple like things that can really affect us so much. With aside communication and so on and so forth, we look at characters that if we not deal with, are able to know our boy. But let me come to Counsellor Emelia. Now you share this very scenario, and as a counselor, your advice. We want to set up business. I am a broadcaster, but looking at the environment, where we find ourselves. My wife being, let's say, a medical doctor, on the field, no can thrive better. So would you advise that as we're setting the business should center around Besiano ne career, ne profession than mine? Because looking at the environment, if we should go into radio, we may not thrive. But if we go into medicine or clinical, it will thrive. In this case, we are contributing 50-50. But the business is centered around the woman's profession. Would you advise a thing like that? And if yes, how should we go about it where the man will not feel that I'm playing a less role in the business? Because technically, I may not have the know-how to handle the clinic business. How do we go about it?
Okay, I will advise, yes. But like I said, Apostle said that define the roles. Until we are building a clinic, because I'm a medical doctor, we are building a clinic. So maybe I'm the head of the medical team. But let the wife know that she's an employee of that business. It is a limited liability company.
Okay.
So Emelia is different from Kwesi Mensah medical facility. In Timpo Bibi Bar, I am not the company. The company is a distinctive entity. Ojina Quanticro, and I'm also Mijina Quanticro. And I'm a worker of the company. And also one thing I would advise, from scratch, let's define one I put back on the say. Fiasha senano, send ya so for car, ye define your rules no. Salaries aketua.
Okay.
Aketua no. My yen define if any yeshe business na say. I'm a director, also a director. Ebi ayen timi ntua ye ho kakra. Simple 2 cities na ebi timi ntua ye ho busumi bia. Let's agree. And that 2 cities is what I am entitled to. Aside 2 cities, no me ntimi nko finance department. Enko ka say dwumere ayire. Wey, mam 200 cities me dey could twamanim me ko year makeup akra me ko function bi. And now also baba say, wey, mam 200 go to fuel. And fan ko say it's not done. See, yes, our business no will not grow. It will not thrive. Into financial perspective, no, let's define it. Let us be on salary. The people I'm talking about, I work for, because I was an HR, I see salaries and everything. They were on payroll. They were on payroll. Into Bianjane salary. Now you drew fear. So now I heard no one back home. Now me made dimisikan. Why? Now me share mema.
Asafo. You see where they've positioned us?
No. We were the last of creation. When we came, everything was there. We are not meant to suffer. And no aside.
I'm glad you are in between us.
Oh yes. You know, we're the last of creation. When we came, everything was there.
A man can say no to us because nyame bo mo no ne ada.
Na ya de wa. Na nyame na obo ho ni pomi e shodo nti wona.
Na I was try them so I buy na bibia wo ho. Everything was there. Into bread there. And your honam no.
We are still in the studio same day and pay na your share our fa every year ejuma together. Your share our fa ye nyina year set up ejuma joint business and na here nyina year share wa hanom na yaka ebodru baby of course say call Max TV GHR za ye twegu nyina no you can enjoy and pay menye Apostle Peter Agyeman na ye wa hadamara na menye Counsellor Emelia Hanson una years in common sembre bema ye bobo ya homatrofo na atum na wo say wasen bi se biara etum na ebisan but let me come to
please mama won't the man feel less? No, maybe the man is an accountant, maybe the man is like being a broadcaster. No, a broadcaster, you are not narrowed to only broadcasting. Maybe you can be general services manager.
Oh, we do PR
a lot of things.
All that. So depending on
you
the
are not
individuals,
narrowed to radio or television only. And PR and things, you can do it in terms of communication, head of communication, even the HR department you can head with a little guidance. Into me being the head of medical team and you being the head of general services or the general manager doesn't make you less of a part of the business. Just understand that in this case is my expertise.
That we are employing.
We are employing. I'm an employee.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll come back.
Okay.
Na ma basofo na ya share in situation where I am not so much interested in the management of the business. We've set it up, but on our year software and a year be sorry. Me de meni shada anje asofu juma ne ho. But we software there, we dey hang na year be 50-50. In this case, how do we go about it when it comes to Sikasamna? The fact that you are the one managing, you take more, I am back, I take less, in spite of the fact that we both invested 50-50 into the business. But Yasha Zemeni bia Oma Yentum Ponso Bande Awarfo, Yeri Ejima Boma, selfish greed, selfishness, expenditure attitude, the Menzame Omwa, Emma Ye Jumani Boma untum nuntum pon. On a so ebusia samni be shembe brea aya na ohawadwen. Baby ahomado obotum na wabam no so aya na ohawadwen. Na zo hia wonte tru panye de. Za yeri ye biara de ya warfo no yebotum ya ma wa konkrata edo na wetum na wabo. Se ebeka yen ho nkyere a anepe ye hwe joint business in marriage. Ya kwa akwanyi papa na ken ho na yetu da mukwane imbo. Mimbre no so yebobo ya homa na atum na so etum afran na adwenkyere another asembise biara no etum na za aboa he. Menye Apostle Peter Agyeman-Kuragu na menye Counsellor Emelia Hanson in a year bon komwe ewaha. Yerko yakaji na hono na mreba oye sofodo. The question is menye interested in the business. Not that menye interested there mimpe jumano, but I want to sofo. I mean me where nyada me where but where say as of in menu anje but I believe in you. Into yen sets up a jumano, but you manage it. Namosomon ton maze. Bibiara ya wo namosomon ton maze. When it comes to Akotia Sama, what would you advise? You're rich and pepe, we invested 50-50, but I'm asking you to manage. I was a boy jumano kunte bibiara. I mean mamosomenya maze namosomon faishamo. How should we balance the financial aspect of it?
I would say, with the financial aspect, no. The funny is, a jumano or yenim. And your four be the role I'm playing. Your four be no be yes, a human be to Yanaka.
Okay.
And son be a benefit to be a basubiano. I was say ye me no buy and chain as we agreed from the beginning. No? We share it. Inti say me ye me juma ye jumano. Now also so oh yeah what dear you take your salary from whatever that you are doing. At the same time no a jumano as a shareholder so no oh portion a winner. Me too no being a shareholder I'm still a worker.
Okay.
So I have to take my portion as a worker. Then shareholder side and so on, I take my portion.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
wow.
True.
Yeah. Counsellor, you agree to that one?
I agree because he's an employee. So let's say he stands aside. So Jnanchena, wabefebi, nyena shaho. Then you pay that person. Define the role. Evaluate the role. How much does the role cost? That role, no, how much does it? It's not about the person, but the role. How much does it cost to pay such a person? For broadcasters, the magnitude of that broadcaster, no, what is the cost of that implication of that broadcaster, the role is coming to play. So you pay him, and then the dividend as a shareholder,
okay,
you share it. So the dividend is not defined, but as and when based on how much comes in,
okay,
and now what did your shareholders account?
Okay,
so it's not like a cut and stone or a 10,000 or a 6,000, or you're based on the profit that comes, and our shareholders what share. But the person being the manager or whoever there, no, the role must be paid. And you have to pay the person.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. A lot of people are interested in the joint accounts issue. Yababa Onodo, at the latter part of our conversation to help us the joint account oye sintobe no wom yebokomeda no na honkronoba. But mamon ko apostle hoewa na membisa apostle yi. Sesa Yerushiaze. Yen dome sukona yen share on the side of the men with your experience as a marriage coach. Boyen ma yen behaviors or not the attitudes are say ye ko into joint business on Saturday ye deneze on the side of a yen meaningful. Ye deneze the possibility of the business need sustainability or your problem no deneze ma ye or ye yaba sign and cry ye the selfishness ye the manzamani fin to inchana. What are those petty things attitudes ye deneze in most cases all made human engineer wa bra ye juma together.
The Emma Ejumano intimate a lack of transparency. Especially to say the na ubu say menama me interested and I said that area of the business na be no menama good in that area. Wo nye interested wo oba na nye interested into ono no na juma and wa ma me akwanya ne say esan say me good into na me interested into no me handle adwuma no say transparency am memoa e the problem ba so there have to be a transparency mane hunu bibia se ne yakọ adwuma no say ne baaye say ne kọ ha say ne that transparency no e de ba and more so ye member side no you should not take it to be say because you are the head of the family intino you can take any decision you want.
Okay.
Say me a head of the entity, me cano ye fan a business. It's not about the obe can ye fan. We reason together, then we all come to agreement. Me who say okay, I deal with ye beboa. Me ye. Inti say a banesa, don't bring that your position as a man of the family no into the business.
Okay.
And more business no. And ye member side no so no. So what the massam esi wani so a na fa adwuma na wo mu no one ma no deda.
Okay.
A good business no. A tarnish even the image of the business. Emma business no into me and grow. And the way I work kasa it's the workers are on money on my adwuma no so no and more customers. So kasa anko ya na you don't take it oh me na adwuma na me dia. Into anyhow, no, I can talk to you anyhow. You end up destroying the business. Obi establish business. So you want to be a workers now.
Wow.
You can put up whatever measures. So workers can be do
the human resource.
One time.
Wow.
Until that is why you need to respect your workers because they help the business to grow.
Okay.
You can't do money cassia. Who crowd we manager and crown? Who near do money cassia? So workers. And so at the end of the day, you try to crowd who cassia. Will be but workers in the year Jumano, Jumane Coso.
Wow.
So that's it. And then I like to make catch them money be said. And now here Ghana, as a couple of maybe companies and no wood, you know, they got that name based on their workers.
On their workers. The attitude of their workers.
The attitude of the workers.
Of their workers. Okay.
And their faithfulness. Now, Jumano are sustaining. So you have to respect them. One for respect our workers now, they can collapse the business.
Wow. So that's a wonderful education. Counsellor, my member also do you touch on Ebaka ide ye mbesiafo na minimu kunri ejuma krono subana ye deneza oma ejuma no ontum na fa ka homam. Being a counselor, aya na wakampo there wa warimu no yenya break bi kakra a little bit of separation bi na oma yesanso ye ba together na chede awono waso kakra bi num kwa chede yetena de bia ye na yetena de bia na wide hofon kakra ba na ye ejuma kor ye nyina the same company na ye wom anapa ye gwara amuhu ye nyina ye kata ka mukuru ye kwa ejuma ye koso ya kata the same office na counselor inti yan wona mfon ya no ho.
Not necessarily to stay in the same office. Then maybe that is the CEO, and I'm the maybe general manager. It doesn't necessarily mean that you should share the same space. Maybe you are in the other office, I'm the other. Oh, but see, now madu fawo monya kono. No, a man is never satisfied though. If you please him, he never gets enough of you. Not necessarily sex. One farmer, your workings, everything, your communication. Sometimes the way you are even talking to an employee on the stairway, he's even admiring you. For that, it's neither here nor there. Sarah and Abraham, what's name for so many years.
But won't that also confuse the man? So David Nasifu,
grandchildren of Solomon.
So won't that also confuse the man, from concentrating because mayor no nam ho nam Russian na it's more many confused with would that not also retard the progress of the business? There's a series on Netflix, Castle and Castle. I'm not advertising for, go and watch it. Castle and Castle. It's so beautiful of a series. Very high level. It's very beautiful. On your she, say bibi botima. I will fatu ho. Say yapona mienke di demasem no fi. But we are at work. Let's work. Aye. All right. Into the subani be is my hand. Not your share, especially one in myself no one afa. There menye mukun. Ye juma kor ye na he business abre subana imbesiafo ye tideneza in your field as a counselor on juma no the few that you were when you made to me.
What I've also witnessed is that sometimes the women are jealous. The women are jealous when they see other young or older professionals who are equally beautiful they also, and sometimes they're also very intelligent, not just beautiful. When we get to the round table, the kind of submissions that they give, you know, sometimes they get a little bit intimidated.
I will be seeing a wife now.
Let's say, I mean, I'm Kunejuma, and they are fankrofo. Until sometimes when we get to the round table, other professional women, the submissions they bring, you know, until sometimes they get intimidated. Like, hey, the rate at which she's going, my husband be but what I would advise is that you really need that person. So gear towards the positive side of that person and not the negative. It's possible.
So for you, say I'm sure. You're more telephone lines in the petition, but so for jealousy, no nazi. I know your traits. Oh, yeah, no, you're shaking the moon. Na me you wage na ebi amara today ami koja mitne hey. Na so for address a gam, so for you be me assistant. They be our address a gam. No, we work together. Na nyeme ye jina ho. Na ba kona with your what's now why you contact together. So for in genes there, this alone can collapse the business.
Oh yeah, it can in some way. And it depends on the kind of woman you are married to or the kind of man you are married to. Meaning say jealousy there will be yeah me man so there na yemfam pie edisie na ewie na hyenemu but your mama be on so obeya pie.
All right, so for just a moment,
okay,
just 1 minute. Now you got telephone lines, so now me announce the telephone lines. No, able to now I join here this morning. I am the numbers no about but ever friend was 0558 462-088 0558 462-088 0558 462-088 on your number uses the page. So your questions, your contributions are so much welcome this morning. Yes, share or yeah, joint business in marriage now. And I pay in common I do papa why you do papa. So call us now and see into me until with the suffer fetch them. Now one who got some there can I announce
like I'm saying, yeah, member and you're jealous in yana intending papa a manner on to mean cancer.
Hey, share, but you know you're jealous today.
Oh, me won't be that. But I say, member dear no, and no so be brave. A shenimu, ne we no.
No
the attitude, ne be shiao. But a mad dear or no be na no aka, no react to him when say, oh yeah. And the met my can say, in such a way, no. So when you're banning and the way my oh be man no. The position you give to your wife, and the kind of treatment out the man, ne be mo be a Obana jealous. The way on the work cannot tear everything. Work cannot be a work cannot just an year crowd here on Valuno in any way. As or Kassan year anymore rough. Who say Obasa or be jealous? It depends on the treatment. Our beman as what they ma Obana way you now for girl you or young girl who to and shankus easy.
So far Yesha.
Me so for something to me for example say me yeah sorry no ba wa sha we shanku me kata me my sorry me kata me Bible class watch and pray
aye
I wish I have more comments to make on that one, but the only comment I have with respect to what's up said is my telephone numbers 0558 462 088. We have a caller on the line. Vero from Kaswa, good morning. Era Kaswa, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning, Modofo. Adepe Mayenteo.
Hey, line no me chedan Kasano. Hello.
What's a make no pay?
Aha,
Medo yanko enyen bon komo. Vera, yeteo.
Aha, okay. Concerning jealousy na work for me. Yes. Oye no papa na the other man can be there. Or different position na every man and how it be to this piano.
Okay.
Because we find the way they business. Na in bold workers no when you na na is out the way you tapa anyhow. Oye dena you could be our jealous to do with you. Obey yaw. Hen to set a make sure that it is a week of fire be dinner on top of man. And you talk from not in the Nakasa, in the presence of workers in Milano, not a embarrassed with the piano. You put that for in the bed, na if you come ever fado, in West Technology, better Tabia, after now, Fema, or Bema business, while for the fine. And there was pocket no or your fine car, and you own because or ya dibia or the problems about worry car.
Yabada se papa nane pay na move on to other callers as well. It's getting interesting here. So for now one ugasam there that just like the caller rightly said no kwana bafada enyi besia ne batsna ewo ejumum ho na obama that jealousy no wa kosor anade wa bafom. My member Counsellor Hoy, honor me bringing as we are waiting for others to join us. No, share the joint business aspect of the joint accounts aspect of here now. Is this something you would advise? That is it healthy that you couldn't hear? Or even with this business, no, benin uchamakawa mankumisika nko. Besia also if I was a one cause and another yemfa yeniseke nyinara yemfa mbom. What are the implications? Negative, positive?
Okay. I would advise that maybe you two can agree. Say, mobetime your joint account on the side, but you also have your personal account. So that account maybe is just towards BB. Okay.
You were Joyce on the line. Fetch him now. Yanka for Joyce and Bra. Joyce, my here. Good morning.
Morning, but
Adumara Kwan also there.
But you're not imagine, Jennifer. My man, I'm a and money become your mom. Oh, yeah. You can a sergeant, also give up computer and man. Or boys and so good, for the man cry. Or in a castle of rob. Check round born, say.
Now, and you know what business are? And you know what business together? And you know what who may buy a Juma Buma? Okay, so at some call what is a year be Sonya there? I want to work what joint business are. Okay, Shine someone car, I am there. Yeah, a bit saying it. She's an year be Sonya there. I want to work whom I you may be together. Do you have a business together? And I've been you know work for Bessian or rotating one, and then our counselors and then pastor here can really help us with that. But if not, then we can move on. Because I know what one who got some America.
In America, there with a joint business, you can decide to have a joint account together. That's every month, me the day bottom. I'm assuming the day bottom. It is gearing towards something. Yeah, the botebi is in you do that. Them sikan on the debate. Then you can have your personal account. I would advise that always have a personal account because sometimes you know I want to maybe mpedemi is kebi me de mamu busuenyi bi me pedemi is kebi bi kwa ma kwa chapel will raise the fund me pede my faith and we are one but in faith you know might not be the same me pedemi is kebi what chapel going to that joint account might create a lot of issues. So, but when I have my personal money, I have control, total control on it that I can give or use it as and when I please it. So yes, you can have a joint account, but I would also advise that you have your individual accounts.
Wow. We'll be coming to our me panel members here for but let me go straight up to the last line number 5. Esther Kaswa, good morning.
Me pacho me kasefi Kaswa.
Oda me yente wane pay.
Me pacho you. Papa, mama no ye ni omu bi adwuma together. Na omu ko fa ladies ni ba. Ada se wo ba no mpini ma wu control workers no. Na workers ne ya ade. Na wo se wo ba no wo two workers ne fo a. O se bi anya wo no ko fa workers ne ba e.
Okay.
Ana workers na mfa ho. Amfa wo so ama. Enti hweye na wan to omofo. Me my husband do some.
Wow.
Me kunu ye bisa. Ye bie insan great duma. And ye ko fa workers ma ba. Na se bia eduma no enko enim ana wo ba wo be die shop na se Canadian wa na wo peto bi. Uni wo kan so be bi. Wo kan so be bi. It's bad.
Wow.
Mema ye pa ma cho.
So is a business still ongoing? Business now we're going. Is it still ongoing another due to this attitude the business negu?
No, because of attitude the business negu and I me match me home.
Oh, okay.
Match me when if you say, mint me in our workers, me kunu di matem. And mint me in my drink.
Okay. All right.
So,
thank you very much for that.
Matu me for some me. Through that, business nego. Business nego.
Watch you know my business nego.
It's a business agent. Now on soon an agent.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, to me, for cost to be on bad. It's quite a sad one there, and I'm sure in that pay or yaza. Yes, in Zama Bebre Nara. Those of us who are already in it, we are learning to sustain it, and those of us who are thinking of going into it, we are learning to, go into it very well and ensure that you to na ya kwenye. Mama Bra, me abigofi one age membeji obiara submissions na the final submissions na yentum na yeah wrap up for today. Let me start with Counsellor Emelia. With all that we've talked about today, in a minute, educate us.
Okay, thank you. Mama Kanye, then when we start the business, what I've also noticed in the Ghanaian business is especially the men, you start a business and now we want to buy ourselves a big car. Yes, we want to buy ourselves a big car. The big car comes with cost. Maybe we are not there yet. It's not bad to have a nice car, but if you are really doing things right and you put yourself on salary, can your salary buy you that car? Obviously, you are eating into the finances of the business. Then there with time, the business will be no more. Into what I would say in there, when we start the business, we should put ourselves on payroll and live within the payroll as if you are working for someone else and let the business grow.
Okay. In 5 seconds, would you advise that our fire per year call into a business? No, we need a counselor's advice.
Okay.
Would you advise a thing like that? Or you think that, just like we're saying, normal going to the Registrar General Department to handle it will be enough?
Not necessarily like a counselor, but then business consultants.
Okay.
You can go to them for them to advise you. All these things I'm saying, they will tell you.
That's okay.
Have your individual accounts, the legalities, follow it and here
just
and
like
there.
It's been said
exactly,
here.
just as we've said it. Management consultant too.
In some few seconds now, Apostle some wrapping up for me.
Kakra me so me can atone say me for my media so concerning the joint account no. No can, but on the joint account, and it should be in a way say one person cannot withdraw.
Okay.
Both of you and I was saying to me sign a withdraw something from the account. Now, but I can't fetch it. Uncle Yinina and uncle. And one thing I also say is say more year joint business. You should not say business where they kit way be until no young fan your mattress. No matter how small the business is, set the rules right straight away from the beginning. Because you don't know where the business will get to tomorrow.
Wow. Wow. It's been an interesting conversation here. Unfortunately, we do not have all day. We would have gone on and on and on, even to look at the situation where ENABA sign and sign a case. But what about a situation where a Kuni baby or how do you go about it? I'm sure the bankers will also advise us on that one. And see on the year. But thank you so much for being a part of our conversations here.